Being Mexican and male, that means that I have to have an old car that I'm restoring that doesn't run very well. It's a really nice, it's a beautiful car. I mean, I've heard... Sorry? Really? My birthday was on Friday. How about that? Who cares? Listen. I only got 8 minutes. Come on. I like my car a lot. I get a lot of looks, but unfortunately, it's never from like some hot 19-year-old girl. It's always like my favorite though is the guy that's with the wife and the girlfriend. They're driving. That's my favorite because I'm driving and they're walking like the baby, right? And the guy's like checking out the car, but the girl not so much. I overheard a conversation one time. The guy was like, honey, look at that car, look how beautiful it is. And she was like, honey, that car's for single guys, okay? You have me now, and you have Junior, okay? I'm thinking in his head, this is what he's thinking. So you're telling me I could be single and not have a kid and get to drive that car? I like to think that my car elicits thoughts of family side. That's right, I made up the word, family side, right? You guys like watching shows on serial killers? Anyone? Nobody likes serial killers? Come on! I do. I watch a lot of shows on serial killers. I think they're really fascinating, and the documentaries on them, they're always kind of the same. They always say the same thing about them, They'll be like, like Gary Ridgway got away with killing like 35 women in like 15 years, Ted Bundy killed like, 40 women, and they always say the same thing about him, They always say he was one of the worst serial killers in American history. I don't know, it sounds to me like they might have been some of the best serial killers in America, But I don't know. I heard about this guy in Miami. He picked up a prostitute, took her back to a hotel, pulled a knife on her to kill her. She pulled a gun on him and killed him. That guy's the worst serial killer in American history right there. I just got a haircut, what do you guys think? Paid $80 in Westwood for some gay guy to cut my hair to make me look like I just escaped from prison. How about that? Just kidding. I don't get my hair cut anymore. Obviously I do it myself. That's why I told him even. I don't anymore because I live in LA. In LA there's no barber shops. They're all salons. They're trying to be salons. I had a barber. An old dude named Ramon, who was like in his 60s. And I'd show up and he'd be like. I'd show up at Saturday morning at 11, drunk. He's already drunk at 11 o'clock in the morning. He's hovering over my head, cussing at me. It's like getting my haircut by my dad. I'm gonna stop doing that. But I went to a barbershop, or it was called a barbershop. My friend said, yeah, go here. It's a barbershop. It's cool. I walked in and right away I know it's not a barbershop, because first of all, the music's too loud. And second of all, it's house music, so right off I know I'm not going to get a good haircut. And I sit down, and back then my hair was a little longer, which is probably why Ramon thought I was gay. But this guy just gets right to work. He just gets right to work, starts cutting my hair, right? And I was like, wait a minute, because I looked at the pictures he has all like around his mirror, they're all like rock stars and and I'm like, listen, seriously, hold on a second, okay, wait. No layers. I don't want any layers. No feathering, no layers. And he got all irritated at me. He was like, why not? I was like, I don't know, because it's not 1978 and I'm not high on Quaaludes. How about that? I don't understand. Everybody wants to look like a rock star now. They get they get the feathers and all this, the stuff in their hair. They want to look like rock stars. I don't want to look like a rock star. I'm a guy with a job. You got that haircut in the wall for me there? That's the one I'm looking for. So he gave me a bob. A bob, people! He gave me a bob! So I thought, well, this is what the kids are rocking today, right? Maybe I can pull it off, go to work with it. No, everybody laughed at me all day long, and rightfully so, because I look like Dana Delaney from China Beach, so. I hate guys with tattoos. I do, I'm sick of them. I'm sick of guys who want to be cool with me because I have a lot of tattoos. I saw a guy one time, this white dude, looking like he just got out of prison, right? He was just tatted from the chin down, just crazy, right? He walks by me and he's just like, "What's up, brother?" I was like, "Hey, what's up, brother? Does mom know about the swastika on the throat there? I don't think she'd like that." I think he was one of those Nazi lowriders. There's a gang called the Nazi lowriders. Here's my favorite part. They're in prison. I don't know what they're riding low in prison, but I don't understand the idea of a Nazi lowrider. I understand Nazis and I understand lowriders. You put them together, it becomes an oxymoron. It doesn't make any sense to me, all right? I picture some old veterano leaning against a 64 Impala talking about, "Hey, ¿sabes qué, Holmes? Pinche Hitler was right, eh?" Turns out they're white power. I guess that makes sense. It's not that guy. Yeah, Brenda, give me some time up here. Thanks. It's not that guy that irritates me so much. It's the guy that gets all the tribal stuff, like all over his body and all over his face, and he feels the need to get all academic with you even though you didn't ask, He's like, "This is what the Maori warrior class would get to strike fear into the hearts of the other tribes." Really? How many Maori tribes you got around the wild in Chatsworth there, Justin? I mean, what are you, waging war against the condo across the street? Your last name is Anderson. Relax, dude. I don't get it, man. I don't get it. Stealing from other people's cultures, I guess, you steal from the black culture. It's kind of cool because they get away with some cool stuff. They do. I mean, you can make it with your street name, become like an artist and then an actor. And you keep that street name. Like LL Cool J still has a street name. That name hasn't been cool since 1989, man. I mean, if you're a guy and you made it with a name as gay as Nelly, what, is he here? That's a pretty cool culture. We as Mexicans, I don't think we can get away with that because I think our street names might be a little too cute. I do. I think they're a little too cute. It wouldn't make sense, you make it, as a rapper or whatever, and you become an actor, you're starring opposite Julia Roberts in the new romantic comedy, the new romantic comedy starring Julia Roberts and Little Puppet. Doesn't really work that well. So I don't get it, man. Because I don't steal from people's cultures. I'm Mexican. I'm proud to be Mexican, and I don't grow dreads, and I don't wear FUBU, and I don't buy dream catchers. Ask the white people in the audience a quick question, if you don't mind. Why do you think the spirits of ancient Native Americans want to help you? They either forgot or something? I don't know, the other part, it's cool. I mean, I like being Mexican, we get a lot of stuff, we get a lot of stuff from, from the people, the anti-immigration people, they're all pissed off that we're here, which I think is stupid. They really want to build, bigger walls and everything, which seems stupid to me because you're not going to keep us out, okay? Because we're like superheroes, okay? We can get over walls, big deal. My friend just got back from Hawaii. He told me there's Mexicans there. You know how long of a swim that is? That's cool things about being Mexican, though, man. I'll tell you, it's my favorite thing, though. Seriously, I can get dressed as a busboy and walk into any restaurant in town and make myself something to eat. Who's going to stop me? Just bought myself a nice red vest. Stealing me a car tonight. I don't know, I get a lot of stuff from my own Mexican brothers and sisters because I'm not Mexican enough for them, I think, sometimes, I get a lot of stuff from them. I guess I've only gotten beaten by the cops once, and I don't own any Raiders gear. And I think my use of the English language is a little too good, I think, for most people to be comfortable with, But I do look the part, I do look like the kind of Mexican that will, disembowel you. Unfortunately, I'm the kind of Mexican that will use the word disembowel, And finally, my favorite thing about being Mexican is the Mexican women, and let's face it, I love the girls with the big asses. That's how I'm built. And I know a lot of guys are not really into that. I hang out with a lot of guys that aren't really into girls with big asses. They're like into skinny girls, and I'll be hanging out with them, and they'll walk by, like some skinny girl will walk by and they'll be like, "Hey man, did you see her ass?" "No, did you?" I'm in a minority when it comes to that, you know, because I know most guys, you know, where I live, unfortunately, they like girls that are, you know, kind of tall and lanky, you know, no curves, a couple of parallel lines, you know. Apparently these guys want to have sex with Apparently these guys want to have sex with women that have the bodies of 14-year-old boys. Not what I'm into, people. If I want to have sex with a 14-year-old boy, I can do it. It's not that hard, okay? Because their self-esteem is low, they don't know where they're going sexually, and guess what? I got Xbox, PlayStation, and GameCube at home. All right, kids, that's my time. My name is John.